Just Listen, Little Listener by Forever Night Lights 24/7, read by The Devil's Advocate 18. Izuku would have been startled when someone sat down beside him on the roof of the tallest building in the seemingly deserted city. He would have been startled if he didn't have danger sense. Whoever it was, they weren't a threat, at least not right now. Izuku blinked, his eyes opened slowly. He'd been dozing off, squatting on the edge when the person arrived first. Now he was peering out of the eye hole of his green hood to stare at the person's boot. It was familiar, but Izuku was almost too tired to care. "Hey, little listener." Izuku tilted his head to the side, taking in Yamada's appearance. Well, he was present Mike right now. Full hero garb, hair, and all, while his speaker was off, resting beside him on the ledge. Izuku blinked, eyes drooping slightly before he forced himself to straighten. "You're not going to talk me out of this," Izuku muttered, after what felt like hours but had only been a few minutes of silence. "I'm not going to," Yamada hummed back. The traces of his quirk carrying through his voice made Izuku feel like the air itself rumbled for a moment. Silence stretched on after that. "How's Aizawa-sensei?" Izuku asked. When his nerves finally got the better of him, Yamada hummed again, his eyes still trained on the hardly visible clouds in the night sky. "He's recovering. He told me I was not supposed to say anything more than that to you students." Izuku nodded slowly, more to himself than anything. "I'm not really his student anymore," Izuku admitted quietly. For whatever reason, that made Yamada snort. "Oh dear, I'm sorry to break it to you, kiddo, but you aren't getting away from Aizawa that easily. He's already claimed you and all of your class, actually. You're one of his favorites, maybe even at the top." "Huh?" Izuku shifted, finally facing Yamada properly, even when the man is still staring at the sky casually. "Kid, he calls you Problem Child. Aizawa doesn't give nicknames to just anyone. He cares about you." Yamada's eyes flicked over, making direct eye contact with Izuku for a moment before emphasizing his next words. "You're his problem child." Izuku turned away, breaking eye contact, as his own started watering for the first time since he'd run from UA. He hadn't let himself feel much of anything recently, let alone process the past few months. He'd spent doing vigilante work by himself. Still, he didn't let the tears fall. The moment he let himself cry, he wouldn't be able to stop. "I can prove it if you want," Yamada offered. But Izuku wasn't sure exactly what he meant, so he nodded. "Just listen, little listener," Yamada whispered. The sound of the phone call had him twisting around again, his eyes widened behind his hood, as he quickly realized Yamada was calling someone on speakerphone. "Zashi?" The voice was achingly familiar, answered. "Hey, Sho. Have you found him yet?" Izuku blinked. Aizawa wanted Yamada to find someone. Him. It was likely just him. Izuku frowned, tears brimming once again at the implication. "I'm on a rooftop in hell, I don't even know where anymore. No sign of your problem child yet. How are you feeling?" "Stop worrying about me and find my kid," Aizawa snapped, and Izuku flinched slightly. He hadn't heard the man sound that desperate since he lost his eye and leg. Izuku's stomach rolled uncomfortably at the memory. "Shota, I'm doing my best. You know the kiddo better than anyone out here. Where would he be?" Yamada asked, a smile on his face despite the powerfully somber tone in his voice he was using. "The kid is a hero to a fucking fault. Find someone in trouble. Hell, even get into trouble and he'll be there." "Are you sure?" "Obviously, the kid had potential when I thought he could only break his damn bones. Hell, he could have even been quirkless and I still would have let him stay," Aizawa replied with a huff. Izuku felt like a spear had been stabbed through his heart. No one had ever said that. All Might had corrected his statement. Sure, but that was over a year after they met. "Sorry, Sho, I'm not doubting you or the little listener. You better not be. He's a child, Hidashi. He's already been through too much. He should have never been dragged into all this. God, I'm going to fucking bubble wrap him when he gets back, Aizawa ranted. Izuku felt his exhausted body start to tremble. The vestiges were whispering to him now. Like usual, they were begging him to go back and get help or rest. In addition, they were whispering words of praise and reassurance that Aizawa was trustworthy and that Izuku had to go to him. Shota, what if we can't convince him to come back? He's been gone for months now, and I'm not that confident enough to talk to the listener out of this, Yamada admitted, and the guilt ate at Izuku's chest. He's coming back. It's not up for discussion. Sho, Hizashi, I don't care if I need to go out and drag him back kicking and screaming. He's coming back. Now go back to searching, please. I need you to find him soon, or I'm breaking out and doing it myself, leg or no leg. The sheer ridiculousness of the mental image finally broke Izuku's mental wall, and he let out a loud snort followed by a watery sob that he quickly tried to muffle with his hands as he fell back onto the rooftop and fell off the ledge. Problem child? Izuku yelled over the phone as Yamada lowered himself down to Izuku's side. Izuku was crying harder, yanking his hood and mask off, and tried to get air as he choked in wheezed breaths. Oh, kiddo. Yamada placed the phone down, reaching out and pulling Izuku into a hug and eventually onto his lap so he could cradle him like one would a small child. Izuku shoved his face into Yamada's chest, his shaking shoulders feeling the warmth for the first time in however long, thanks to the arms wrapped around him. Let it out, kiddo, Yamada said, brushing his other hand that was not draped across Izuku's shoulder in slow circles up and down his back. Izuku dug his hands into Yamada's leather jacket, a white-knuckled grip that did nothing to help to soothe the ache in his fingertips, his tears and snot drenching the front of Yamada's uniform, and Izuku only felt the man hugging him closer when he tried to pull away. After a few minutes, Izuku realized he started rambling, panicked half through sentences about One for All, the war, his guilt, not wanting anyone else to get involved, the stress, and anything else his exhausted brain could piece together. Problem child, Aizawa snapped, causing Izuku's eyes to lock onto the phone, even as he was still in the safety cradled in Yamada's arms. You're coming back to UA. You're going to listen to Hidashi when he makes you eat and rest, and you're going to come to me the second you're well enough to have a real conversation. Got that, problem child? Izuku wanted to argue. He really did. He couldn't. Yes, sensei. Izuku choked out through tears still streaming like waterfalls. Good, Aizawa replied. Still, Izuku couldn't really follow the command. He wasn't sure he wanted to at all, but he couldn't really stop Yamada when the man hoisted Izuku up and into his arms as he stood to carry him. Feel free to sleep, little listener. I'll wake you up when we get back. Okay, sensei, Izuku muttered, his eyes finally drooping closed and his body sagging entirely. I'm grateful I slipped off my speaker when I first sat down, Hizashi chuckled, picking up his phone while making sure Izuku was still safely secured against him. Is he asleep? Shota asked. Yeah, Sho. I've got him. I'll be back soon. It's a bit of a drive, though. All right, Shota hummed back, obviously relieved they finally had Izuku back. With that, Hizashi walked himself and Izuku down the stairs to his car and drove them to UA. The walls were just as impressive as ever, even with them only being recently finished. Arriving at the gates went smoothly, and Hizashi finally let his tense shoulders relax a little when the ectoplasm finished the car and identification inspection and let them inside. The immediate area was a little busy, and Hizashi didn't really like the idea of starting some kind of altercation. He was well aware that most of the civilians in UA's gates blamed Izuku for the whole mess. Utter bullshit. Thankfully, Hisashi already had a few blankets stashed in the car just in case. He wrapped the sleeping teen in 2 blankets, swaddling him comfortably before pulling him into his arms and walking to the teacher's dorm building. It was only after he was safely inside his apartment did Hisashi completely relax with a soft sigh. "Come on, kiddo, let's get you a bath." Izuku slowly came to after Hisashi set him on the couch, which was surprising since he usually woke up from nightmares. "The shower is ready, kiddo. Do you need help?" Hisashi asked him, the wobbling teen to his feet and walking him to the bathroom. Izuku was honestly too tired to be embarrassed. He accepted the help, and the duo quickly got Izuku showered down and comfortable in a hot bubble bath with strong bath salts. They help with sore or aching muscles. These ones are a special blend enhanced with a healing quirk. "I think I'll leave you to soak for a little bit while I make dinner for you, okay?" Izuku nodded, a little dumbly as he watched his English teacher walk out, leaving the door cracked slightly open. The open door let Izuku hear the man starting to move around in the nearby kitchen. Izuku leaned back, letting himself doze off once more to the sounds of Hidashi's humming in the other room. "Kiddo?" Izuku's brows furrowed once more when he woke up. "Sorry, listener. Let's get you dried off and dressed. I've got a guest bed all ready for you to sleep as long as you need once you're done with dinner." Izuku obediently followed Hidashi, pulling and prodding, letting the man treat his few injuries and get him dressed in what had been the most comfortable pajamas he'd ever worn. They weren't really pajamas, but they were oversized enough that Izuku felt like melting into them. "Here, kiddo," Hidashi hummed, placing a large bowl of spaghetti with plenty of meat sauce and a ring of garlic bread around it. "You don't need to eat it all, just eat what you can, and I'll save the rest for you to have later, okay?" Izuku nodded, already half asleep. Once Izuku's bowl was mostly finished, Hidashi wandered over to pull it away from him and pick him up again. "Let's get you to bed," Hidashi muttered, rubbing Izuku's back as he made his way to the guest room. "Stay, please," Izuku whispered. "Of course, kiddo," Hidashi muttered back, carefully tucking Izuku in and running his hand through the messy, unkempt curls. "I'm not going anywhere," Hidashi promised. This was Just Listen, Little Listener by Forever Night Lights 24/7, read by The Devil's Advocate 18. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time.